What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel here. My name is Scott Caputo. I'm the founder and CEO of Advent Media, a digital marketing agency that specializes in helping scale over 100 businesses successfully with digital marketing. On this channel, I'm going to be going through everything I've learned over the past 10 years and all my experiences that have accumulated together to help me learn what really goes into running and successfully scaling a business. So on this channel, I'm going to focus on giving all that information to you and telling you exactly what I wish someone had told me before I started a business. If you're enjoying the video and this seems like something you'd be interested in and following the channel in general, I just ask that you like and subscribe to show support so I can reach more people that are like-minded like you and grow an amazing community of like-minded individuals. I'm going to go ahead and say something very controversial, and it's that selling things online is not a dying business. I would even say that it's one of the fastest growing industries and most effective ways to grow your business. And at this point in the video, you might be wondering, what is it? How do I do it? What is it even good for? And can my business use digital marketing? And so I'm gonna go ahead in this video and quickly break down all of those questions and answer all of your possible concerns. And let's jump into it. So to give a little bit more information on how you could actually implement this yourself, I think it makes the most sense to jump into what types of categories or types of digital marketing in general are most popular and most effective, and sort of what they mean in terms of putting them into your business, say tomorrow. So I'll go ahead and jump into them, and you can leave any comments you have or questions on them in the comments below, and I'm happy to answer any details. So first up is social media marketing. And social media marketing is essentially just any form of marketing on social media, not surprisingly. But what that really means is it could be paid ads on any of those platforms like Facebook, TikTok, Google, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, any of those. And that's sort of, typically there's a couple ways to go about it. Now there's the easiest way, which I definitely don't recommend, but you can do things like boosted posts. So when you post something, it gives you the option to go ahead and boost it for a small fee, and it's essentially your organic post being boosted up and just shown to more people, kind of like sponsored content, sort of functioning like an ad, but you don't get the same tracking and control over who you put that in front of, and that's why I don't recommend it. And the second form would be something more like putting up and going into one of their business managers where you can actually manage exactly like where the ad is put, say the audience and the type of people that see it, the size of the audience, the amount of spending you're going to control each day, the copy, which is the words that you see, the creative, which is the picture or video or carousel, and then things like the call to action, which may be something like learn more, buy now, check this out, whatever it may be. And what really makes it powerful is that it makes it easier to sort of what they call A/B testing, which allows you to kind of separate variables and see exactly what works best at any given part. Or so you can find things like, is it the copy that's working the best? Is it the creative? Is it the audience? And a number of other things. And that's something that our agency specializes in. So, I could talk about this for hours, and it's something that I'll definitely dive back into on this channel in the future, plenty through different platforms and different strategies in general. But this is something I'm always going to recommend that you have. Although if you're just starting, I won't recommend jumping right into it. I definitely do think you should go get a following, learn what your audience is, and depending on what you're selling, get some sales in general, cultivating an organic audience before you dive to digital marketing and paid ads specifically. And that's just because paid ads don't fix a business. Rather, they leverage successful and well-established businesses to put them in front of the right people and help you expand your reach. So you can always check before you run paid ads if you're having some sort of success in your business. And if you have any questions about that, definitely feel free to reach out to me or a team member at our agency, and we'll be happy to help you kind of take that down and build that and break that apart and kind of build that back up exactly how you need, whether it's free resources or something else we can help you guide you in the right direction, or maybe ads, and that's something we can take on separately. But that's kind of my spiel for paid advertising in general and social media marketing. Now, second up is content marketing, and that's sort of just the flip side. That's everything that is on social media and things like that that isn't paid advertising. So it's the things that you normally just post on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. It may be videos, it may be photos, it may be something else, but it's not the type that you're paying or putting any money into to try and promote to a specific audience. It's just the general stuff that you put up. Extremely powerful and something you should always have, especially if you're gonna run paid ads. many people will always check out your business, who you are, what that is. So having some form of content marketing in general and just general content to see to kind of tell people who you are, what the brand is, what the business is, whatever it may be, is always going to be really, really powerful. It's something that people are proven to check typically before making a purchase or making a decision or booking a call or whatever your call to action may be. So I definitely recommend it. And it does let you kind of test exactly what you want to show to people, because you'll be able to know what's received more graciously and typically gets more engagement before you go run ads for something. And that's kind of how you can test, even before you even put any money into it, you can sort of test what's going to be responded well. Next up is pay-per-click. So pay-per-click advertising is essentially includes social media marketing in general. It is something that you're always doing, and it is based on the cost per click that you're running advertising around. It's sort of separated in general as its own category of just pay-per-click advertising, but in reality, like running ads on any of those platforms is going to be pay-per-click. Alongside that, it's going to be something like search engine marketing, where you are doing things based on pay-per-click as well. There's things like Google ads, if you've ever seen them. They're very similar to search engine marketing in general, and they are also regulated around pay-per-click. So it's worth mentioning because it's typically noted as its own category, but in this current day and age, there's a lot of overlap. The only thing is there are a lot more applications for pay-per-click in general than just social media marketing. There's a lot of places where it may be, whether it's on something like news websites or a number of other types of websites on the internet. You know, it's not always just going to be social media that you're marketing these paid ads for or tracking ads, and it's not always just going to be search engines. So I think that's why it kind of warrants its own category, but it's worth mentioning that there's quite a bit of overlap in the actual underlying theme of what it means in the world of digital marketing. At 4, we have search engine optimization, and what search engine optimization essentially is basically just ranking a lot of things that go into keywords and backlinks and a lot of other things, quite a few factors and elements that go into search engine marketing, and optimization, I should say. And you can just think of it in a very simple way of getting your website to rank on the first page of Google. In general, of course, it's very competitive to get anywhere like that. But what search engine optimization aims to do is rank you higher on search engines, whether that be Google or Bing or something else like Mozilla Firefox or some other sort of thing that has some sort of ranking in search engine in general. It can be a very powerful place and a very powerful thing to start getting organic content. It's something that takes quite a bit of time to cultivate. So if you go pay someone a bunch of money for search engine optimization tomorrow, don't expect results the next day or probably a month or two after that. It takes a lot of time to cultivate, and it's typically a cultivation of things like fixing keywords, checking ranking, finding where your audience is, getting lots of powerful backlinks, and a number of other things that help with that. But that's sort of what search engine optimization is in a couple sentences. Following that is email marketing. Now, email marketing is one of the highest converting forms of marketing you can possibly have. The only hard part for email marketing is going to be the fact that it's hard to get people to subscribe that you can email to on any of your websites, regardless of what business you have. And that's where kind of a lot of those other strategies that I've already mentioned and a few more I'm going to mention and a few come in. And that's sort of what drives traffic to your website typically, gets people to sign up through email marketing, or I guess submit their email, whether it be through them purchasing or them abandoning cart and filling out their information, or someone that just resolved their identity and information through something like clicking through an ad or something else. And using that list that you gather from all those sources, you can then send out very specific campaigns that allow you to reach these people with things like email marketing. And you can even incorporate things like something called dynamic marketing, where you might reach out to them and show them the exact product that they left off or their abandoned cart specifically from your website. So it's very personalized, and that kind of thing can be very powerful too. But in general, email marketing is extremely powerful and high converting, but can be hard to grow the list. And so when you're just starting, it's also something that takes a little bit and you need a little momentum before you have a real list that you can start converting. Very similar to email marketing, something that's growing very quickly as it becomes something that people are more and more dependent on is SMS marketing. Now, I will say going into it, SMS marketing can be a little tougher for very high ticket products in general, but as a whole, SMS marketing is very powerful and something that's quickly growing. It's in a very similar fashion to email marketing. So Kind of just refer back to what I said to email marketing if you're curious of kind of what it takes, when you should start, and how to grow it in general. But it's very powerful and something that's constantly growing, depending on what kind of website or what kind of business and offer you may be selling. There's a lot of advantages and a lot of powerful tactics you can use to help people get involved or stay involved in your business using SMS. Next up is online PR. And so that's just kind of press in general and getting your business attention. There's a couple ways you can go about it. I mean, there's PR like getting published on large sites. I know some people pay in general or work with agencies for PR for things like showing up on Medium or some of the other big ones like Forbes if you can, or just trying to get featured on large places. This kind of holds two advantages. Typically, they'll link your websites as well, which will be a very high and very powerful backlink. But also, it's obviously quite a bit of traffic and attention just because so many people look at these types of places that you getting that PR allows you to, one, show social proof, showing that you've even been recognized for them. So many people will check you out just from seeing those types of big companies mention your name. And then three, as I said, it'll help with search engine optimization in general, just because you get really powerful backlinks of really big companies and really big websites mentioning your website, which is really, really powerful. Next is sponsored content. There's a couple ways that this kind of exists in digital marketing in this day and age. But one very clear and easy way to say sponsored content in general is if you think of something like YouTube and you see people do sponsored content in the middle of their videos. So in general, that could be like sending them products or having them just take a 30-second to 1 minute period out of their video to talk about exactly how powerful this kind of stuff is and things like that. But there's a number of other ways too that you maybe see sponsored content where people might mention it in things like blogs or in other forms of videos or on streams and a number of other things. There's even sponsored content through like collaborations with different types of businesses and brands and products. But it can be a really powerful tool if done correctly. And then it's all about finding who interacts with your right audience before doing it. The next big form of digital marketing is going to be affiliate marketing. And that's essentially putting your product or your service behind someone else's name and having them essentially market on behalf of your business. And that might be like paying an influencer to sort of give them an affiliate link. And so every time they plug your merch or your business or your product and they drive traffic, they'll go to a unique link where they might use an affiliate code or a unique link that holds some sort of like discount or specialty, and you'll be able to very easily track the success that comes from that specific person, whether it be an influencer or a website or some other form of affiliate marketing. That's essentially what it does, and it's basically having someone else market on behalf of you to drive traffic to your website and having some way to accredit them for their work marketing on behalf of your business. Next is inbound marketing, and that's essentially the best type of marketing in terms of the work that goes into it, although realistically to cultivate that kind of success does take quite a bit of work. And so inbound marketing is essentially anything where people just naturally or organically come inbound to your business as a wanting to buy customer. Typically that what we see for most of them is that to have some sort of inbound, you need either a lot of social proof where people will just know of you well enough that they don't need to be converted by any form of your marketing. If you're a really, really large brand and they just know that they want that product, then that's great. I find that inbound marketing in theory doesn't really exist without any other form of marketing. Like if you think of a gigantic brand like Nike, you only know of Nike because of marketing. And if you learned it from someone else instead of marketing, then they probably learned it from marketing because they probably saw it on every single billboard and every single paid ad online and every single video and decided that Nike was the go-to for shoes or something like that. And that's sort of where I find that inbound marketing is a bit confusing to explain in the sense that it wouldn't exist without any other form. Similarly, you might see other websites do that just by driving a ton of high value content, whether it be through ads or just organically. And typically inbound is when they don't need to be reached out to do any call to action. They simply see all that and engage with your brand or business naturally. The next one is called native advertising. Now, native advertising essentially is showing up on things that you might have some interaction through and doing it through the mechanisms of their platform. So an example of this would be like on Snapchat, when you see a Nickelodeon filter, that is native advertising because they didn't pay for an ad to be put in front of you, and they're not putting their literal content from Nickelodeon's page in front of you, but rather they've created a filter that is natively integrated into Snapchat, and they're incentivizing and encouraging people to use that. Similarly, you might think of something like TikTok, where you might see lots of people doing paid hashtags. Of course, that starts off paid, but in general, that's a native tool where you'll see people using that naturally to engage with their own audiences and everything like that, and going through virality. I know one of the big examples was like Chipotle a couple years ago did the exact thing, and there's been tons of them that have done huge hashtags on platforms like TikTok. But in general, that's sort of what that native advertising is. It's sort of playing into the mechanisms of a platform on its own and using it to your own benefit as a business. And last up on this list at number 12 is going to be search engine marketing, which is sort of what I mentioned earlier and touched base with. It's just essentially doing marketing on search engines in comparison to something like social media. And that's going to be things like Bing and Google and all the other big search engines. I find that there's a bit of a split these days because platforms like Google and search engines like Google, I should say, will use things like Google Shopping ads, which is sort of closer to content and like creative-based marketing that you might see on social media. But at the end of the day, it's still on a search engine, and I still kind of categorize all of that as search engine marketing, along with its own standard ads that are typically more of a contest of keywords and things like that. So if you've ever like searched for anything on Google and you've seen any of those ones come up that are ads at the top or at the bottom, I mean, that's just search engine marketing right there. That's them doing pay-per-click marketing, and you can kind of see how it all comes together there, but that's really what it is in a nutshell. And those, in summary, are 12 of the most powerful and broad kind of categorized forms of digital marketing. And, I'll go on this channel and I'll make sure to start a breakdown over time, all of those types of things, exactly how they could help your business specifically. I know that's kind of broad, so there's a lot of businesses out there that could use this. So I'll make sure on this channel to break those things down and really take them from fundamental steps on not only how would I, but how did I for a number of businesses that I've been a part of and I've started on my own, and ones that I've grown with my clients, and sort of what we do typically when we see clients that need help with these types of things, like from the earliest stages to barely even having a business, to making a decent number of sales, to being very well established, and kind of what we do at these different stages. Because it's very important to understand going into this that what you do at these different stages of the cycle of your business are very, very different. And you should definitely practice very different strategies on how you grow them. So yeah, I hope that helped. Like I said, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this helpful and you enjoyed the video. And let me know if you have any questions in the comments. As I mentioned, I'm super excited to help give back to the community. The goal of this channel is to kind of give you information that I really, really wish someone had given me before I started. And I think I have a lot to offer, so just let me know. Thanks for checking it out.